So, with the soft relaunch of the game and the release of Season 1, Lifeweaver had 3 of his perks swapped out with 3 brand new ones, and I'm gonna go over what they do, if they're any good, which ones you should pick, when and where. For the new minor perks we have Petal Protection and Dashing Escape. Petal Protection provides 20 healing a second to anyone on your team, including yourself, whenever they are on the platform. The platform doesn't have to be raised up either, so if you want to stay on the ground, you can stand on the edges of the pedal, or place the pedal somewhere it doesn't have the height to lift, like in a room with a low ceiling, or in a doorway. This healing actually gives you ult charge too. On the other hand, we have the new Dashing Escape, which increases your dash distance by 30%, which takes the distance from 6 meters to 8 meters. The way they've implemented this perk as well is you don't dash for a longer duration to gain more distance, you actually dash for the same amount of time but faster. So you're not just dashing further, you're also dashing quicker, which can help in being slippery. This also means that when combined with the bunny hop you can do when using legacy controls, you go 15 instead of 12. When the season was fresh, I originally thought that the dash perk was the way to go most of the time, and that the heal perk was useless, but since playing the season more and talking to other Lifeweaver players, I've realised since that the heal perk is actually the one to pick most of the time. The healing gives you ult charge, and is pretty good for farming Tree as fast as possible, which is especially useful as Tree got a big buff this season, taking the overhealth conversion from 50% to 100%. Also, since the support passive got removed, and everyone now has a global healing passive which takes a long time to kick in, the petal can help keep you topped up from chip damage. You can put the petal in chokes or doorways where your team are playing too to get multiple teammates on your petal and farm Tree really quickly. The dash perk feels really nice to use, but the value just isn't as good as the healing petal, since the healing also gives you ult charge, and most of the time you don't need the extra distance. I'd only take the dash over petal when you're facing dive heroes like Winston, Genji or Vendetta, and you're having trouble staying alive. You can use it to quickly get away. One of the old minor perks, Cleansing Grasp, was way better than both of these new minor perks though, so it's a shame it got removed for these, but thankfully we're getting it back next season as part of Lifeweaver's base kit. For the majors, we have good old reliable Super Bloom and a new addition, Sow the Seed. Super Bloom, as you probably know, gives Lifeweaver some extra burst damage and increases his DPS a lot. If you hit 16 fawns within 2.5 seconds, you trigger a 40 damage explosion. The explosion is purely only visible though, and doesn't actually do any area of effect damage. With his other major, the new perk, Sow the Seed, the devs somehow found a way to fit another ability onto Lifeweaver. Once you've selected it, you can now throw your seed on the floor, which when scooped up by an ally gives them 5 seconds of 75 overhealth and 25% movement speed. Well, at least that's what it's supposed to do, but it's currently bugged, and the moment the overhealth is gone, the ally loses the movement speed. Well, I hope it's a bug, because in the patch notes, the way it's worded, you would think you have both for 5 seconds. If it was intentional that the speed is removed if you lose the health, it should say for up to 5 seconds. You also cannot ping it for some reason, so if you drop your seed on the floor and your team don't see it, good luck telling them about it. And if that wasn't enough, it also disappears after a while. So anyway, since the health's removed if you lose the speed, and it's only 25% anyway, it's barely worth mentioning. You effectively have a single target 75 overhealth buff on a 14-second cooldown. It's kind of a joke, especially for a major perk. I could see it being a good minor perk, or even base kit with these numbers, if they fix the speed being removed, but if it's gonna stay as a major, it needs some major buffs. Firstly, the 25% speed is a joke for a major perk. This is the same as Lucio's passive Constant Aura, which is applied to everyone around him by the way. I think a good number for the speed would be 40 or 50%. 25% is just such nothing. I also think the health it gives is kinda bad. Like, it's okay on a squishy, I guess, but on a tank, 75 is nothing. It's gone in an instant. I would probably buff it to 100. Remember, this is a major perk, which can only be applied to a single target, and is on a 14-second cooldown. The cooldown is also a little bit long. It could do with a little shortening, like maybe 12 seconds. And if they were to buff the speed up, but not the health, I would say maybe 8 or 10 seconds, for like 50% speed and 75 overhealth. I think another way you could go about buffing the health on it too, is to make it heal too. Currently, it only gives overhealth, and if someone's low, you're still going to have to heal them up anyway, because the overhealth's just going to wear off in 5 seconds. Maybe it could work a little like Tree does, and heal and convert excess into overhealth. So like, heal for 150, and up to 75 excess could be transferred into overhealth. So if someone was full health, they would get 75 overhealth, and if they were on like 10 health, they'd get 150 healing. This would be really good for saving teammates and healing them up quickly, which Lifeweaver really struggles with right now, and this would also make the seed a lot more versatile. But yeah, sorry for rambling on for ages there about the seed. It has potential, but it's just in a really terrible place right now with how weak and clunky it is. You almost always want to take Super Bloom over it. I've experimented with taking the seed when I'm struggling to keep my team up, or they're running a comp I just can never proc Super Bloom on, like Domina, Zarya or Sigma, because of all the bubbles and shields. But even then, it's debatable whether it's worth it or not, because it just gives so little value that taking Super Bloom still, even where it's weak, is just as valuable, if not more. In conclusion, in your games, you'll mostly want to take the Healing Petal perk and Super Bloom, only taking the dash distance if you're struggling against dive, and only taking Soda Seed if you can't proc Super Bloom at all, or you desperately need some kind of more healing, even though it's not really healing. I hope you enjoyed the video, and that I could help with understanding Lifeweaver's new perks and what to pick. I'd like to give a big shout out to my YouTube members. Thank you Ellen is Valid, Rebirth Flame 01, Veryhand, Foster Ceramics, CuneCun3584, and Sophia Ash 15. And I'll see you next video. Bye!